You weren't born with a silver spoon. You were born with a plastic fork from a food bank. Your old man worked double shifts at the factory until his back gave out. Your mom? She stretched every dollar so thin you could see through it. Every night, you watched your father come home broken, smelling like grease and regret. He'd look at you with tired eyes and say, "Study hard, son. Don't end up like me." But studying wasn't going to pay the bills. At 17, a recruiter showed up at your high school. He wasn't selling education. He was selling escape, a ticket out of this dead-end town. And you grabbed it with both hands. Your mom cried. Your dad just nodded, handed you $20, probably his last, and said, "Make us proud." No pressure, right? Boot camp hit you like a freight train. They broke you down to nothing, screamed in your face until your ego was dust. But here's the thing about you. You didn't break. While other recruits were crying into their pillows, you were doing extra push-ups. You weren't just surviving. You were leveling up. Your drill sergeant, a terrifying man named Hayes who looked like he ate nails for breakfast, pulled you aside one day. He said, "You've got, kid. Something most of these soft-bellied recruits don't have. Don't waste it." That was the first time anyone believed in you. And you decided right there, you weren't just going to be a soldier. You were going to be the best damn soldier the US Army had ever seen. Fast forward 5 years. You're deployed to the Middle East, your first real taste of combat. And let me tell you, nothing prepares you for the real thing. Not the movies, not the training, nothing. The first time you took a life, your hands wouldn't stop shaking for 3 days. But you didn't have time for an existential crisis. You had men counting on you, so you buried that trauma deep, right next to your childhood dreams, and kept moving. You saved your squad from an ambush that should have killed everyone. You carried a wounded soldier 2 miles through enemy territory with bullets whizzing past your head. You made calls that no 23-year-old should ever have to make. And the brass noticed. Every mission, every impossible situation you survived, another medal got pinned to your chest. You weren't just climbing the ranks, you were speedrunning military promotions. By 35, you were a lieutenant colonel. By 40, a full colonel. And by 45, you got the call. "Congratulations, General. You're being promoted to Brigadier General. Report to the Pentagon." You did it. You actually did it. That broke kid from nowhere was now one of the highest-ranking officers in the most powerful military on Earth. Your parents would have been proud. Too bad they didn't live long enough to see it. Here's what they don't tell you about reaching the top. The air up there isn't just thin, it's toxic. If you're enjoying how I went from a broke kid to a general at the Pentagon, hit that like button and let me know in the comments what you would have done in my place. The Pentagon isn't a military headquarters. It's a corporate office with better security clearances. The moment you step through those doors, you realize the enemy isn't overseas anymore. The enemy wears suits, carries briefcases, and speaks in budget allocations. Your first meeting with the Secretary of Defense is educational. He doesn't shake your hand. He doesn't thank you for your service. He just slides a folder across the table and says, "We need you to approve this operation." You open it. It's a drone strike on a village in a country you can't even mention. The target? A suspected terrorist leader. The collateral? An estimated 40 to 60 civilians, women, children. You look up. The civilian casualties are, he cuts you off, acceptable. The target is high value. This is approved from the top. You hesitate, and in that hesitation, you see something flash in his eyes. Annoyance, like you're a piece of equipment that isn't functioning properly. "General," he says, leaning forward, "you didn't get those stars by asking questions. You got them by following orders. Don't start developing a conscience now. It's bad for your career." You sign the paper. You tell yourself it's for the greater good. You tell yourself this is war, and war has costs. But that night, alone in your office, you stare at your medals and wonder how many of them are stained with innocent blood. Welcome to the big leagues. The scoreboard isn't measured in victories anymore. It's measured in compromises. 6 months into your new position, a young analyst named Torres requests a private meeting. She's nervous, sweating, looking over her shoulder like she expects a sniper to take her out any second. She hands you a flash drive. "Sir, I found something I wasn't supposed to find." You plug it in. What you see makes your blood run cold. It's a black budget operation. Codename Phantom Harvest. And it's been running for 15 years. The details are horrifying. The military has been secretly funneling weapons to extremist groups, the same groups you've been fighting, to destabilize regions and justify continued military presence. It's a self-perpetuating war machine. Create the enemy, fight the enemy, repeat forever. Billions of dollars, thousands of lives, all sacrificed to keep the defense contracts flowing. You look at Torres. Who else knows about this? Just me. And now you, sir. You should report this, you should blow the whistle, but you know exactly what happens to whistleblowers. They don't get medals. They get court-martialed, they get suicided with 2 bullets to the back of the head, they get erased. Torres is staring at you with desperate hope. She thinks you're the hero. She thinks a general with a chest full of medals will do the right thing. But doing the right thing means destroying everything you've built. Your career, your reputation, maybe your life. You take a deep breath. "Torres, I need you to forget you ever saw this. Delete everything, that's an order." Her face crumbles. "But, sir..." "That's an order." She leaves. You sit alone in the dark, holding the flash drive that contains proof of the greatest betrayal in American military history. You should destroy it. That's the smart play. Instead, you lock it in your personal safe. You tell yourself it's insurance. But deep down, you know the truth. You're not ready to let go of your conscience. Not yet. The secretary calls you to his office. The mood is different this time, friendly, almost warm. That's when you know you're in trouble. "General," he says, pouring you a whiskey you didn't ask for. "You've impressed a lot of people. There's talk of promoting you to 4-star, maybe even chairman of the Joint Chiefs someday." You take the glass but don't drink. "What's the catch?" He laughs. "Straight to the point, I like that." He slides another folder across. This one is thin. Inside is a single photograph. Torres, the analyst who showed you the files. "She had an unfortunate accident last night," he says casually. "Car crash. Very tragic. She was so young." Your blood turns to ice. "You killed her." "I didn't kill anyone. Accidents happen." He sips his whiskey. "The question is, General, do you want to keep having a long, healthy, successful career, or do you want to start having accidents too?" He knows you have the files. He's not asking, he's warning. "Here's the deal," he continues. "You play ball, and everything you've ever wanted is yours. Power, prestige, legacy. You'll be remembered as one of the greatest military leaders in American history. All you have to do is look the other way. Keep signing papers. Keep being a good soldier." You look at the photograph of Torres, 26 years old, dead because she trusted you. "And if I refuse?" He shrugs. "Then you become the next tragic accident. And your lovely wife, Sarah? Well, widows are so vulnerable these days." There it is, the threat wrapped in silk. Your family, your life, everything you love, held hostage by a man who sees human beings as chess pieces. You should refuse. You should stand up, flip the table, and go full movie hero. But you think about Sarah. You think about everything you've sacrificed to get here. You think about how the system will just replace you with someone worse. You pick up the whiskey and you drink. "What do you need me to do?" The secretary smiles. "Now you're thinking like a leader. Congratulations, you just sold your soul. The price? Your silence. Welcome to the club. The next 3 years are a masterclass in moral decay. You become everything you once despised. You approve operations you know are wrong. You shake hands with war profiteers. You give speeches about honor and duty while your actions betray every word. The promotions keep coming. 4 stars, corner office. Your face on magazine covers with headlines calling you a modern American hero. The irony is so thick, you could choke on it. Your wife notices the change. "You're different," she says one night. "You don't sleep. You barely talk. What happened to the man I married?" You want to tell her everything. You want to confess that her husband died years ago, and what's left is just a shell wearing his face. But you can't, because telling her puts her in danger. "It's just the job," you say. "High-pressure stuff." She doesn't believe you, but she stops asking. And somehow, that silence hurts more than any question. Meanwhile, the Phantom Harvest file burns a hole in your safe. Every night you think about destroying it. Every night you can't bring yourself to do it. It's the last piece of the man you used to be, the only evidence that you once had principles. Then, one day, everything changes. A journalist contacts you. She's been investigating defense spending irregularities for years. She's close to uncovering the truth. She wants an anonymous source, someone on the inside. She wants you. You meet her in a parking garage. Very cliché, but clichés exist for a reason. You're wearing civilian clothes, sunglasses, looking over your shoulder every 3 seconds, like a paranoid NPC. She's young, ambitious, reminds you of Torres. That thought makes you sick. "I can give you everything," you say. "Names, dates, bank accounts, but you need to understand. The moment this goes public, I'm a dead man." She nods. "I'll protect my source." "You can't protect me from these people. Nobody can." You hand her the flash drive. 15 years of evidence, enough to bring down senators, generals, defense contractors, maybe even higher. It's the nuclear option. "Why now?" she asks. "Why after all these years?" You think about Torres, about the villages bombed for profit, about the soldiers who died fighting enemies their own government helped create, about the man you used to be, that broke kid who just wanted to make his parents proud. "Because I'm tired," you say. "Tired of being their puppet. Tired of pretending I'm a hero when I'm just a coward with medals." She takes the drive. "This is going to change everything. I know." You walk away. For the first time in years, your shoulders feel lighter. The exposé drops 3 weeks later. It's everywhere. Front page of every newspaper. Lead story on every channel. The biggest military scandal in American history. The fallout is immediate and brutal. Senators resign, generals get arrested, defense contractors scramble for lawyers. The Secretary of Defense? Found dead in his home. Apparent suicide. Sure. And you? Sitting in your living room watching the chaos unfold on TV, waiting for the knock on the door. It comes at 3 a.m. Not a knock, a full tactical breach, flashbangs, shouting, men in black swarming through your house like ants. They drag you out in handcuffs while Sarah screams. The charges? Espionage, treason, unauthorized disclosure of classified information. Everything they can throw at a man who broke the code of silence. The trial is a circus. Your lawyers argue you're a whistleblower. The prosecution argues you're a traitor. The truth, you're both. You exposed war crimes, but you also spent years enabling them. There are no clean heroes in this story. The verdict? Guilty on 12 counts, life in prison. As they lead you away, you catch Sarah's eyes one last time. She's crying, but she's not looking at you with hate. She's looking at you with something like respect. "You did the right thing," she mouths. Did you? Think about that question in your cell every night. You destroyed the system that destroyed you, but you also destroyed yourself in the process. Maybe that's the only way it could have ended. You can't burn down a house without standing inside it. 5 years later, you're still behind bars. But here's the thing. The reforms happened. The black budget programs got dismantled. Oversight actually became a thing. Soldiers stopped dying for manufactured wars. They called it the General's Reckoning. Some people call you a traitor. Some call you a patriot. Most just call you an example of what happens when one man decides to tell the truth. A journalist visits you for an interview, the same one who broke the story. She looks older now, tired but satisfied. Any regrets? She asks. You think about the question. You think about your career, your medals, your legacy, both the golden lie and the ugly truth. I regret waiting so long, you finally say. Every day I stayed silent, more people died. If I'd spoken up sooner, maybe Torres would still be alive. Maybe thousands of others would be too. She nods. Would you do it again? You look at the concrete walls, the iron bars, the life sentence that will probably end in this cell, in a heartbeat. If this story got you thinking, don't forget to subscribe for more content like this. Drop a like if you made it to the end, and let me know in the comments, would you have done it again?